Okay.
And, yeah.
So I feel like you're ready. You got it, Megan. Definitely. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the stages of readiness that, maybe you feel like you're at and what I feel like, you know, you are potentially at. So I have a couple stages right here in front of me. So we got the contemplation stage. That is the second stage. This is when you're kind of, going back and forth with the pros and cons of the change that you're trying to make, and you're not really ready to move along with the change yet. Um, you are thinking about possible changes, challenges that could come your way. Of course, you have to think about that, challenges and um, different things that are going to be kind of hard with the challenge. Of course, you got to think about that. But in this stage, you're not quite ready. I feel like you are above this stage. You're not at contemplation. We're at preparation. Preparation is the third stage. It talks about, preparing for this change that you're trying to make. So you're getting information, you're talking to people, you're looking at apartments, you're researching, you're taking these small steps to, make this change, definitely. And, you're planning for more progress. I definitely feel like this is a stage you're at because you're researching, you know, what apartments would be great for you. You're looking at apartments, you're trying to narrow it down. You're not quite there yet, but you are definitely making the small steps to to get this, to get there. So you are at the preparation stage. So we want to get you to the action stage, right? We want to get you to the stage where you're making the big steps, where you're narrowing it down to a few apartments. You're looking at these apartments. You're talking to people. You're looking at that lease and, you know, thinking about, you're getting approved for these apartments and people are going to want to sit down with you and to sign the lease, right? So we want to get you to the action stage. So we're going to do this by doing an action planning table. So this table is basically going to talk about the issue, which is not really an issue. This is a change that you're trying to make. And then we're going to maybe talk about one or two goals that you're going to do, that you're going to try and achieve. My fault. Then we're going to talk about the action steps that it's going to take for you to achieve that goal. And then we're going to talk about an evaluation that we can do to make sure that those goals have been achieved. What are we going to, how are we going to know that you have succeeded, So let's do this right now. All right, you with me? Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. So the issue, the change, you're trying to move out and move into your new apartment, right? Okay, cool. So let's think about, not large goals, like moving in, like, that comes after, that's the change. So let's think about some smaller goals that you can achieve that aren't going to be too much, but it's kind of going to push you, to get a step closer. So let's think about the first goal. So I remember you saying that, you're 7. You're 7 because, you are researching, you are getting the knowledge and the information. You're there. That's why you're 7. But you're not a 9 or 10 or 8 or 9 yet because you haven't completely set on, one or two apartments yet, right? Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we want to get you to that point where you are set on one or two apartments, not, 4 or 5. We want to get you closer to this change. All right. So let's say a goal could be getting 2 apartments on the list, just 2. You're only looking at 2 now, right? Do you think that could be a fair goal for you to achieve, Megan?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's say your goal is to only worry about 2 apartments. All right. So let's put that 2 apartments, narrowing down to from 4 to 2. All right. So maybe some action steps for this goal could be, you know, for you to get to only 2 apartments. You're gonna have to look at all the information about these apartments. You're gonna have to research all these apartments. Look up the lease up and down, maybe from all these apartments. What do you like? What do you don't like? That is initially how you're gonna narrow it down. You gotta really pick and choose which ones work for you, which ones don't, maybe which ones are closer to your jobs, maybe which ones have a good location, which ones don't. So do you think that's a fair like action? Like you can look up step information?
Definitely.
Definitely. Okay. So another step could possibly be, making a list. Let's say a list. Like you have to have a visual, list to look at. So you know that so you can compare the apartments to each other. Maybe seeing which ones have, what apartments don't have things and what apartments do. What apartments, have certain things that you need and what apartments don't have those things that you need. You should make a visual list to compare because it would make it easier for you that way. That's a step that you could take to achieve two apartments. And then of course, one more action step could be to just eliminate two, or how many you have to narrow it down to two. All right. So how do you feel about those action steps?
Those are really good action steps. I really truly do think that is a good plan to go about it. So
Okay. Because, you're already doing that. You're already looking at information. You're already researching. So it's just a matter of really just, and of course, you got to do it eventually. You got to narrow it down to one. So let's narrow it down to two. So let's think about maybe a evaluation plan that could, you know, let's say, check that you have narrowed it down, that you have achieved this goal. So what do you think like a evaluation plan could be for this?
wait, say the question again. Sorry.
So we're gonna think, so we got the goal, two apartments. So
hmm
let's say like you have about four apartments that you're looking at, or maybe you have more than that, right?
hmm
So that's the goal. You're trying to narrow it down to two. And you got your action steps, your three action steps that are going to help you get to narrow it down to two apartments. And then your evaluation plan is going to be, have you succeeded? How are we going to know that you succeeded? How are we simply going to know that you have gotten two apartments only?
Once I make a list of both of them and I um evaluate the pros and cons of both apartments
Yeah.
and just to see like which one is better for me.
Which one's better for you? Definitely. Okay. I love that. That's great. So once you have narrowed it down, once you're only looking at two apartments, that's great. I love it. Okay, so that is definitely an evaluation plan we have there. So let's move on to a second goal that we could give you to help you make this change, because we want you to make this change. We want you to get to your goal, okay? So one more could be maybe with financial, making sure that you have a set amount of money at a set amount of, at a specific time. We want to make sure, even though you said, you're pretty stable, but, why don't we, you know, get to the point where you're able to put 3 months down on rent. We want to make sure that you are able to do that, able to put the deposit down, able to buy the renter's insurance. So those are actually some things that, we could think about. So what are some other things that come into play with things that you're going to have to buy, or not necessarily buy, but worry about, spending your money on when you're getting your new apartment?
Like what do you mean, like furniture
Mm,
wise?
So for
Okay,
like
like
essential things, yeah.
okay, like I'm not gonna. It's my apartment. To be all the way honest with you, is not going to be fully furnished because it's me putting the furniture in there. Yes, I'm going to have help, but it's going to be me putting the furniture in there. I'm
Definitely.
going to make sure I have the essentials, like you said, like a bed and um, a dresser and
Yeah.
different things like that. And with time, is going to become completely furnished.
Yeah, with time, definitely. So that those necessities are definitely some things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need something to sleep on. You're gonna need something to put your clothes in. You know, those are definitely some things that you gotta think about that you're gonna have to pay for. So when we're thinking about money, we gotta think about how much money you're gonna need to save up, you know, and let's put a date on it. How about that? Could we do that? Could we, come up with an amount of money to save up by a certain day?
I want to save about 3,000 by June.
Three
By
thousand by June.
June.
Okay, that sounds good. So we want to save $3,000 by June. And of course, these $3,000, that's going to help you with utilities, with your deposit, with your, you know, essential things that you're going to need: bed, dresser, you got to put groceries in for, at least a week or so. You got to eat. So that's great. $3,000 by July. Okay, so let's think about some action steps that could help you get there. So what do you think are some steps that you could take to achieve that $3,000 by July?
Well, not only working, of course, working, but also um, saving money, putting money up,
Saving
and
money,
a certain amount of money up. Make
definitely.
sure you have a plan on how you're going to save that money.
Okay, got you. So, and you did tell me you had a car and,
Mhm.
you got bills to pay. So you got to pay those bills off when you first get paid, and you said you were ahead on some things. So that's great. That's always a good thing. So let's say pay bills and then you save, of course, work because that's how you make money, that's how you get the money. Um, and then you said, I think you said, let's just say budgeting, right?
Mhm.
Budgeting, that you got to be able to manage your money, where you're going to put your money. Set aside money for you to spend for the week, and then save, and then whatever else, bills. So those steps are great. So work, pay bills, and save, and then budgeting. So those are definitely some steps that you can take that can definitely help you achieve this goal. All right. So what could be an evaluation that we can do to know that you have achieved this goal?
Um, I think what we could do is like I will have the apartment. Like that would
Right.
be like the final result,
Yeah. You
and
have
I'm
an apartment.
comfortable.
You're comfortable. Definitely. Okay. So you'll have the apartment. Okay. So let's just say they call you and say, "Hey, Megan, you're approved for the apartment." La la la. You know, and it's July, and you're like, "Oh, I got $300." Right?
Okay.
You're ready to go. That you're ready to meet up and sign the lease, right?
Mhm.
So that literally could be the evaluation right there. You know, hey, I'm ready to go. They called me about me being approved. I can go sign the lease today because I got the money. Period. All
Mhm.
right. So that's great. So we got the second goal, saving $3,000 by July. 3 steps, working, paying bills, saving, budgeting, and then, you're able to sign that lease when they call you, because you're approved. Okay, so this is great. I love it. So this is a great action plan. All right, so, that's pretty much it. We just came up with a great action plan. Um, the 2 apartments, the money, saving up, a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time, and then the steps that it takes to achieve that goal. So is there anything else that you want to add or, that you want to change? How do you feel about what we came up with today?
No, I think it's a really good action plan. I think it's a plan. I think it's a good plan.
You think it's a good plan? Okay, well, that is great. Great to hear. So I'm just glad that, we're on the same page, and I believe in you that you will achieve this goal, that you will achieve this change, that you will make this change, and that you will be financially stable. You'll have everything in order, you're responsible, you're organized. So far that is what I'm getting from you. And those are some good strengths and characteristics to have when you're trying to make such a big change. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thank you so much, Megan. I appreciate you. Okay.